So this is the aftermath of what's left of the pallet I got from Cleveland Power Performance. So all the steering, brakes, and engine has been removed. The pallet was cut down to make it easier to store with everything attached, but now that there's almost nothing attached, we're going to ditch the pallet. But I have the wiring harness for the car basically stuffed under there that I have to deal with now. So I'm going to transfer it into here, see what I'm dealing with, and deal with that another day. So for now, let's see what this mess of wires look like. Okay, so working towards untangling this knot. So what I've done is I started labeling all of the stuff that I took off the pallet initially. So, and then I started labeling the modules as I found them, and then I Googled them. So just Googled the part number, and then started to put labels on them and put them in a bin. For now, for safekeeping, I have to figure out what I actually have to have and what's nice to have. Part of the big problem is because it's a running pallet, they've run basically this ground wire through all the body grounds and through all the grounds that are required. So you get these sort of like piles of wire piled together, which knot up the whole works. So as I undo that, and as I undo some of the clips, it's starting to come apart. So I also started to just write numbers on the clips that come apart. So there's a few of these that I've labeled so that when the time comes, I can just clip those back together. Yeah, this is definitely a nightmare and definitely not going to be easy to figure out and modify, I don't think. So I guess I'll sort it out and figure out what I actually need and figure out what to do with the rest. Do you clip it off, or do you put it in a bundle and tuck it in the corner and hope for the best? I'm not really sure at this moment. So keep going here, and I'm gonna basically, I'm not at the point in the truck to basically put this in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna just label it all as best I can and get it off this pallet and just drop it into the bin for now, for future use. That's a future problem, I guess. Keep untangling, I guess. So more progress, unknotting more. So this, I guess, what, sub loom, wiring loom, is for under the dash. So this is the steering wheel and the pedals and all of that separated out. And this one over here, which is hard to see on the lid, is for the engine side. So this is the, I guess, the fuse box and whatnot. So I think this connects to the wiring harness that is on the engine now, because I didn't take that off. I just kind of unplugged it and left it. So this must connect to that and then connect back to the car. And then this whole mess of stuff is extras. Still trying to figure it out. Some of it is for the shifter and stuff, like down here, this small run seems to go to the shifter. But the rest of it, I'm not 100% sure what it is. So a little bit of Googling. I also have a lot of like connectors that just have nothing on them. There's a lot of open connectors that I'm finding. So I'll have to figure out where those go and if I'm really gonna need those. Again, I gotta figure out what to do with that stuff. Do you just hack it off? Do you tape it off? Do you just leave the connector open? I don't know, guess I'll figure it out. But I have been going through and just labeling everything. So everything's been numbered and labeled. So when I go to put it back together, it should, in theory, just go back together the way it was. Yeah, keep unpiling the wires here, I guess. So looking at it more, actually, this loom that was for under the hood actually has the pedals on it. So you can see by the grommet that it passes through firewall and hooks up to the pedals. So this is the gas pedal in here. And I'm not really sure where the brake pedal is. It was on here. So, but yeah, so some of this loom does the, or sub-wiring harness does the pedals. It's not just that. That looks more like the steering and the like radio and stuff. So not sure how much of that's going to actually fit into the truck, as I'm limited in space, but that's more what that's for. So some of that might have to go. Okay, so this is probably the final little update I'll do on this. I'm just going to pack this away until the time comes to actually install it. But I've unknotted this last harness. It's all one piece. Basically, it doesn't come apart in any sort of easy fashion like the other two. So basically, this is the body harness that goes in the vehicle. Obviously, that's not going to work in my small little truck, because this thing would go around probably 3 or 4 times. Obviously this is set up with the rear battery back here and with the power cable, and then it goes up each side of the vehicle to the front and then connects up with the stuff underneath the dash. My biggest problem is, looks like the shifter stuff is a part of this harness, so not really sure how I'm going to deal with that, but everything else seems to be like remote keyless entry and sensors for like blind spot module sensors and stuff like that. So not things I'm going to be using on my my truck, so I have to figure out how to take them off or figure out an alternative solution for the transmission and the shifter, which I hear there is lots of options out there. So I'll have a look around and see what happens, but I think I'm just going to pack all this up for now that I have it kind of sorted and I understand what it is, at least sort of understand what it is, and then I can start looking at probably putting this group underneath the hood, because that's going to be, I gotta squeeze this stuff under there. That'll be the biggest challenge, I think, of all this. And then there's the various miscellaneous modules that are removed from the vehicle. So that stuff will have to find homes or get tossed away or shipped to someone who needs them. Anyways, this is probably the last update I'm going to do on this for now. Maybe I'll do a quick one that's all packed into the bin for now, but I will be back to wiring at some point in this project when it matters. The body harness and the dash harness are stuffed back into the bin for now, labeled and laid in a way that they're not so tangled, easy to take out. So the dash harness is on top, the body harness is on the bottom with all the modules underneath. I kept out the engine side of the harness over here in a separate bin, because I'm going to work on getting this mounted, I think, next, to figure out how this all works underneath the hood, or close to next in the next little while, I guess. First is the mounting the shifter and some of the other interior bits to make sure that they fit, so I know what I'm actually going to be working with. But yeah, on to the next thing. Clean up a bit, I guess, too.